Last time on the Sinnoh whatever the fuck lock, our hero Hiroshi began his journey and battled his way through the first 3 gym leaders, encounters with Team Plasma and his rivals in his way as well. But he steamrolled through it all because all these people fucking suck, only losing 1 Pokemon. Let's see if he can do better, or if this is the beginning of an awful trend. This time on the Sinnoh whatever the fuck lock.
Hiroshi leads Mud. Hiroshi is the player character, mind you. And Kenji is the rival, mind you, leads Staravia. We get that nice double intimidate, and then we just murder the shit out of each other because, you know, he uses quick attack and I just spark him. Obviously, it's a one-hit KO because it's super fucking effective. Duh. Kenji sends out Ponyta, and of course, I switch to Odelia because she's a whole water type, and obviously, what else am I gonna do? Ponyta uses Tail Whip, which, I mean, why? What's the point, bro? Just hit me. Odelia hits an Aqua Jet, and it does a bajillion damage. You know, super effective and all that. Kenji decides that he does not want to be a Sinnoh trainer, seeing as he used a Ponyta and a Roselia. He's just not like me, so I have to do him bad. I send out Scald, and he misses the Stun Spore miraculously. Oh, thank goodness. And Scald lands a big, mean, mighty, clean Flame Wheel to destroy Kenji's Roselia. Kenji is down to his final Pokemon in Prinplup, who is, you know, gonna get absolutely fucked by whatever I send out that is good against him because this is a Pokemon game and he's a bum. So Mariana comes out and Kenji tells Prinplup to use Growl. Of course, Mariana doesn't use, you know, physical attack, so it doesn't matter. Prinplup starts firing out Bubble Beams, which don't do very much damage because Mariana has great Spadef and is also a water type. And I decide to start using Speed Up after I see how long the fucking startup of Hidden Power is and how little damage it's doing. Then, as Mariana gets low, I decided it would probably be the best idea to switch out into something else. I bring Gunjo out, and realize that was probably a terrible idea, but I click Aerial Ace anyway and win the battle against Kenji. You know, he cries like a little bitch because, you know, that's what he does. And he's like, oh gosh, diddly darn it. Well, you better make sure all your attacks hit, and then you'll be able to win. It's like, oh my god, dude, just get the fuck out of here, Doug. What the hell? After acquiring the good rod, I head back to Route 205 to catch a Finian, which I name Finn. I know, I'm so clever. And I start running around like a headless chicken for a really, really long time before I make my way to Solation Town where I meet Barry, and he tells me about HMD Fog, which is a move that I will never use. Even if it's good now, it was fucking terrible then, like, good lord. I take off from Solation Town to Route 210, and I find something, pretty cool. So, you know how there's that cafe that sells the Moo Moo milk? Like, right next to the Psyduck section? I had no idea you could battle literally pretty much every single person in that shop. And it made me remember that there's a lot of battles inside of, like, Pokemon centers and stuff against just random fucking people in the Pokemon Center. And that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's a thing in, like, most other Pokemon games. I just know for a fact in Sinnoh, everybody wants to run your fade in a Pokemon Center or a shop for some reason. I think that's really fucking cool. After meeting Wake at Veilstone, I decide it's time to train up for Maylene. So I go back to Mount Coronet and catch another Bronzor, of which I name Gamma. You know, like Omega, Gamma. If you couldn't guess last time, it was Sonic. I also take the time to grind up and evolve Mariana and Mud, you know, into Gastrodon and Luxray, right before we take on Maylene. What is she, the 3rd gym? Sorry, I'm stupid. Maylene is the 4th gym. We did 3 gyms last time. We're doing 3 gyms this time, of course. Maylene was already set up to be a pretty easy gym by the fact that she's a fighting type gym leader, and I have Gunjo Starly, or Gunjo Staravia now. But he's also level 32 to match with her ace Lucario, so he's going to be a fair bit stronger than the other 2 members of the team. Metatite and Machoke should go down rather easily, seeing as Metatite went down rather easily right there. And as Machoke comes out, I take a second to remember if he has Rock Slide or not before making my move. I check a Pokemon, and then I check the wiki. But once the wiki is thoroughly checked and I find out that he has Rock Tomb, I decide that I can probably live it, or I'll just one-shot him and stay in and go for the Aerial Ace anyway. However, it did not one-shot. So Gunjo Starly did get hit by a Rock Tomb. Now what does this mean, you might be asking? Well, not that much, it just did a decent bit of damage and lowered my speed, which would probably mean I'm not going to outspeed Lucario, but I can definitely still outspeed Machoke, seeing as he's slow as balls. Now that I'm faced with Lucario, I decide that, it's probably not a good idea to get Gamma in here, considering he's only level 23, which is like the inverse level of all my other team members. And since Lucario's a steel type, I decided the best bet for taking him down would be to utilize Mariana. Now, he hits a Drain Punch, but Mariana is the GOAT and fucking eats that shit handily. And now we just press 2 Mud Bombs and take the gym like that, right there. Easy peasy. Gastrodon is the GOAT, and we do in fact need Mega Gastrodon. After besting Maylene and getting through some pointless Team Galactic stuff, I go to Route 213, I'm pretty sure, and catch Charlie Chatot. Yeah, pretty good name, like it a lot. Too bad I never used the guy. Worthless ass Pokemon. Then I make my way to Pastoria City, where Barry awaits for... I gotta stop calling him Barry, he's Kenji, where Kenji awaits for our next bout. I used those Japanese names at the start, but I should have just named him Barry, honestly. Kenji, Barry, whatever you want to call him, whatever I want to call him, it doesn't really matter, because he's still a big old bum. So this was probably the battle I was least prepared for against Kenji / Barry. As you can see, Gunjo's a little weaker than his Staravia, and that's because, well, I didn't know you fought him here. I remember Wake, he showed up at Wake's gym. I didn't remember he battled you at Wake's gym. So I switch out into Mud because he's a fully evolved electric type, and even though he's still weaker than the Staravia, it does not matter. The Staravia simply goes for double team, but that doesn't really matter at all, seeing a Spark is an 100% accurate move that does, you know, physical damage and is super effective. It's going to get that easy, clean one-shot. His next Pokemon out is going to be Ponyta, and of course, in response to him sending out Ponyta, I send out Mariana. Mariana's a tanky-ass water ground type, so she's going to eat any hit that Ponyta can throw at her. Kenji's Ponyta simply goes for a growl, and then follows up the next turn with a tail whip, taking a bajillion damage from Mariana's water pulse and getting confused. On the second water pulse, Kenji realized that his Ponyta was outmatched and sent out Roselia so that it could deal with the water ground type, because of course the grass type is going to deal with the weight. It's 4 times super effective, bro. What are we talking about? Of course, I'm also not an idiot, and I won't let that happen, so I simply go out into Gunjo Starly. Yes, his full name is Gunjo Starly. Even if he becomes a Staraptor, he is still Gunjo Starly, and I will always refer to him as Gunjo Starly. Fucking Roselia hits a Magical Leaf, which does pitiful damage, and Gunjo Starly hits a big fucking Aerial Ace, taking out the Roselia instantaneously. Gunjo Starly is on a roll, but I don't know if we can keep it that way as we're entered into a bird battle. I look at who can face the bird in a bird battle, and decide that Mariana is probably the best choice, considering, you know, she's going to eat these water type moves. However, unlike in the past, the first time we fought this... Was it a Piplup or a Primplup then? It doesn't matter. Mariana is now neutral to his Bubble Beams instead of resisting them. Not my best insight here. I'm just taking more damage than I probably should when I could have just put Mud in on the field and he wouldn't have taken any damage. But we do get a big paralysis, something that Mud has never done in his life despite being an electric type. I don't know why I kept Mariana in here. I mean, he's just going to keep pressing Bubble Beams and Mariana may die. However, I'm not stupid, and once I see that health go red, I immediately get the fuck out of there and bring Mud into the field, who is going to clean this shit up real nice and easy and get the free ass W with a Spark. Of course, I said that with such a tone of finality, but Kenji's Ponyta is still left to be dealt with. Who fucking cares though? It has like negative 8.5 HP left. I don't know why I switched Odelia out. Like, this Ponyta is dead as hell. Odelia comes out, eats a Stomp, and then is going to press Aqua Jet, obviously, because that's how this works. With Kenji surprised and thoroughly trounced yet again, he fucking barely admits that I'm the GOAT and he's a bum and fucks off, because of course he does. Since we're in Pastoria, let's go over the rules of the Great Marsh. The Great Marsh has 5 areas, I think, and each of them count as a different route for this run because there are 2 Pokemon for this run that are entirely inaccessible anywhere else but the Great Marsh, those being Skorupi and Carnivine, and I need a grass type right now, so I'm going to the Great Marsh to catch me a Carnivine. It was available that day, even though it's one of those wandering Pokemon, and I catch it and name it Caroline, and she's the goat, and she's gonna help me defeat Crasher Wake because he's got that mean old Quagsire. I also catch a Barboach, which I named Bradley, but I did remember, like, partway through, that Bradley is not a valid encounter. He came from Generation 3 and not Generation 4. So, yeah, he's not real. I evolved Gunjo Starly into Staraptor and then went on that one route outside of Astoria City with the fucking really annoying ass, like, mud and rain and shit. And I found a Krogunk, of which I named Carl. On this route, Mud learned Thunderfang, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I was very hesitant to pick up because it has the same amount of power as Spark, but 5% less accuracy. Now, if I'm being honest with you, that doesn't matter, but the thing that it, does as being better than Spark is having a flinch chance along with a paralysis chance, but I don't think it ever flinched one time for the entire run, so I could have just kept Spark and nothing would have changed. I would have had 5 more power points and 5 more accuracy. While grinding here, I do want to say that the fucking grass type population of this fucking region is terrible. It's just as bad as the fire type population. I think it's literally just the starter, Cherubi, and Carnivine, and that's it. There is no other original grass types in Sinnoh that are regular Pokemon. Don't bring up fucking Shaman, okay? Regular Pokemon. There's like 3. Oh, fucking Abomasnow. Yeah, but you can't get him here. So really the only choice is to either have picked is to either have picked the grass type and get your shit rocked by an Ice Fang because it's grass ground, or pick up a Carnivine, which by the way is another awful, terrible fucking Pokemon. Like, it learns 2 grass type moves naturally. 2. Vine Whip and then Power Whip at like the 40-somethingth level. That's fucking ridiculous. Also, it's not very strong at all. Its attack and special attack are damn near the same. And it only learns fucking special attacking grass moves by TM, which I guess makes sense, because this thing might as well be a special attacker. Also, by the way, I think with Scald evolved while I was grinding here, so that's pretty cool. I think everybody got to a very high level while I was grinding in this area, because, I needed to grind. I also realized that you can sweet scent grind instead of running around hoping for an encounter, which, that was pretty cool that I thought of that. I'm feeling a little good about that one. And then we make our way over to Crasher Wake. Whoa. Crasher Wake was one of the most straightforward gym leaders, considering it's just electric type, switch to grass type, electric type, and you win as long as the grass type avoids the Ice Fang, or as long as you just don't get hit by the ice. It's super easy. He's one of the simplest. And though it starts pretty bad with Mud missing a Thunderfang, which is one of the reasons I should have kept Spark, the waterfall does middling damage, and Mud is able to get the KO easily. Crasher Wake then predictably sends out Quagsire, which causes me to switch into Caroline, who takes a Rock Tomb that is a critical hit, a little high, but I expect her to still outspeed the Quagsire, but she doesn't and gets hit with a Yawn. Although her Vine Whip does a bajillion damage, I think, she's gonna fall asleep. I'm switching out to Mariana so that I can eat whatever comes out. Quagsire uses Yawn again, which is pretty strange, but I guess it was predicting me switching out because it yawned, and then it's like, okay, you're going to switch out because you don't want to be yawned, obviously. So I decide that the best option is to switch into Gunjo to avoid the ground type move, which I do, and then I KO Quagsire with Aerial Ace. Now, having Gunjo out, Gunjo Starly, let me correct myself, allows me to completely predict that Floatzel is going to use Ice Fang, which I probably should have switched to somebody else, but I decided it'd be the best option to just go straight to it and switch into Mud, getting the Intimidate to make the Ice Fang hit less hard, and going for a Thunderfang. Of course, I get hit by the Brine because Floatzel is fast as fuck, but the Citrus Berry I gave Mud before the gym battle kicks in, and even though the Floatzel lives as well and eats its, I think, Oranberry? No, Citrus Berry. Just didn't look like it restored that much health. I guess the numbers are a little weird. It lands another Brine that doesn't do a lot of damage because I'm above half, and then another Thunderfang takes it out, and I win Crasher Wake's gym because, it was, like I said, easy as balls, easy as baloney. After Wake, it leads into the plot point with the Team Galactic guy where you chase him, and I think he's the one that has the bomb. I don't really remember, I'm not sure. Cynthia gives you the Psyduck medicine, and then you get on your merry way to the foggy ass route that's really fucking annoying, and I hate it very much. And then you get to the fucking silly Goober Town. that's the whole thing. That's how it works. Between here and the silly Goober Town, I don't think there's any encounters or any encounters on the routes near the silly Goober Town. It's all fucking Bronzor. I can't stand it. Why is it all It's always Bronzor, Babarrel, and there's like a third one. Like maybe Weasel. It's just, what the fuck? There's no Sinnoh Pokemon anywhere. Pisses me off. The plot finally kicks in as we enter the ruins and see the fucking like tapestry with the Lake Guardians, and Cynthia's grandma tells us about him, and then Cyrus shows up and we absolutely wipe our fucking ass with him, because, you know, what is he gonna do? He's literally nobody. After we wipe our ass with Cyrus, we see Cynthia outside the cave and she explains even more lore that doesn't really matter anymore, because, you know, who fucking cares? She tells us to go to Canalave City for the library, but we're gonna go to Canalave City anyway because it has a gym battle. I head back over near, I think, is it Hearthome? I can't remember. The one with the ghost gym, and I get the odd keystone. And then this is when I come to realize that Spiritomb is a completely impossible to acquire Pokemon on an emulator and on actual hardware these days. There is literally no encounters on the way over to Canalave, and then we arrive in Canalave. Kenji's bitch ass got a new badge, so he wants to flex on me and see if he can beat my ass, but he's still a bum. So we start the battle off with lead Mud versus lead Staraptor, and I go for a Thunderfang. Weirdly enough, this is insane. This matchup, this is insane, bro. Staraptor doesn't die instantly, and then presses double team. Now, if I was still using Spark, I wouldn't be concerned about this, but I am now because I only have a 95% accurate move, but I press that shit anyway, and it lands. Get fucked. Kenji sends out Rapidash next, and of course I switch into Mariana because, I mean, who else am I going to switch into? Caroline? No, dumbass. Now that Mariana's in, Rapidash goes for a Tail Whip just like before, and I press Surf because I'm not a dumbass. Rapidash uses Takedown after using Tail Whip, W combo, you know, lower my defense and all that, but it doesn't do any damage because Mariana's tanky as fuck. Mariana hits a big ass fucking Surf and it does 10 billion damage. Rapidash fucking dies. Alright, next. Roserade comes out. Obviously, it's Grass type versus the Water Ground type, and of course, I switch into Scald. Could have been Goonjo Starly, then again. Now that Scald is out, we already know what's gonna happen. Roserade's gonna use some type of grass move, Giga Drain, I see. And then Scald is going to absolutely fucking incinerate the Roserade with a fire type move. Kenji sends out Empoleon and does this make you think of something? It kind of looks like Anyway, just like that matchup, the red one wins easily. He clears. Haha, Dante better. And Heracross comes out, and I just switch into Goonjo Starly, slime him out, and it's over. Wow, this is also a red and blue matchup. Bless me with the leaf off of the tree. On it, I see the freedom ring. Kenji says that I'm just a bit better than him as usual, as if I haven't easily cleared him in every single match we've ever had. And then he says that he beat the gym leader by training at the Iron Islands. That's him post Iron Islands training? I thought he was gonna go after. He's a bum. So of course I train on the Iron Islands and I not catch, but while I'm there I obviously do the thing. I get the egg, I hatch the Riolu, and I name her Rihanna. Oh yeah, I got a little baby on my team, bro. What the fuck? Obviously Rihanna's not coming with me to the gym, so let's go fight Byron. Byron is a worthless bum-ass gym leader that's almost as worthless as his son when it comes to battles, so it's time to slime him out. I lead Mariana because she's my only ground type, and she gets hit with a big old tri-attack, but who cares? It's gonna do like, I don't know, 20 damage, maybe? Okay, more like 30. But the Mud Bomb obviously is going to take Magneton out instantly, 4 times super effective, big deeps. Steelix comes out and fares quite literally no better, as it doesn't even outspeed and gets instantly taken out by a Surf, giving Mariana another W in this match. See, Mariana's KD is too fucking good. Bastiodon comes out, and you'd think we're just going to feed Mariana's KD a bit more, but I'm not stupid. I know what Bastiodon does. I switch into Caroline to try to eat an attack, but the Stone Edge does way more damage than I was expecting, likely because it was a critical. So I switch on to Odelia on a Stone Edge that wasn't a crit, hit a Crunch to break Sturdy. It uses Metal Burst, which does nothing because, well, you know, I didn't do that much damage. Then I hit a Mud Bomb to instantly destroy it, and that's GG's. Byron gets absolutely fucked because he's a bum, and that is 6 gym badges deep for fighting straight bums. I don't think there's a hard fight until like the next video, dog. It's crazy how bad it gets out here. The plot starts to kick in again after this gym. Genji rolls up on us right outside the gym and talks about the professor has something he needs to tell you or something like that. I can't be bothered to read. The professor basically just explains that there's like gods and shit, and Cyrus like wants to get the gods and shit, and then he tells us all to go to lakes because apparently there's gods in the lakes and they control, you know, the things that make you alive, like your emotions and your willpower and your intelligence. And it's like, what the fuck? And these things live in lakes and they're capable of being captured by the humans of which they control the very concepts of their being? You're fucking lying to me, Professor. I don't care how many bombs go off. You're a fucking domestic terrorist. There's no way you're just saying this shit and you expect me to fucking believe you. I head to the lake anyway, even though he is definitely a terrorist, and oh shit, checking my watch. Oh, the video's fucking over, dog. Maybe you should subscribe, and maybe I can get, you know, the next one out in a good amount of time. But yeah, it's done. You should definitely subscribe though. But like, the video's over. Like, it's fucking over. Go away.